Right, so in this program then, what we're going to do, we're going to read in names of winners. We're going to base it on American football teams, or American football teams from a text file. And I'm going to place them into an array, and then the user can then type a team name into a text box and display the numbers of the Super Bowl games that they've won by that team. And then the user has an option then of adding winners of any extra games that they may play to the array of winners. Alright, I'm going to use a text file for this one. And each line contains the names of the winners in order of the different Super Bowl games. So just show you what that is, not that one. If I go into my program, so I've just called it sbwinners.text, and in that is the winners in order, so Super Bowl 1, Super Bowl 2, 3, and so on, up to including 46. I don't know whether those are right or not, but just you can see some back-to-back wins for some teams like Broncos, for example. So we can check to see if that works a little bit later. So minimize that, and that one, we can check that. So that's what the form looks like. So we're going to type the name of the football team in there. That's then going to display the Super Bowl number that they won in here. So it's going to be a list of numbers the year they've done that. And then we have the option then to add. So a little bit more to our code on this one. But again, hopefully you'll find this useful for your own program when you come to do it. Alright, so we'll start off then by double clicking on the form, just as the form loads. That's what this event is here. I wanted to do a couple of different things, but before that I want to add some global variables which are going to be used throughout the program. So again, good kind of practice really, just to label it as what they are. So global variables, so we're going to do dim team names, which is going to be an empty array. It's going to be string, because they are pulling in strings this time, isn't it? Just names of the actual teams. And then we're going to create another one, another variable for a little bit later, num games, and that's going to be as an integer, obviously. Alright, so there are our global variables sorted. Okay, into the code then. So as the form loads, we want to pull in some data from the text file. So team names, I'm going to do io.file dot read all lines, and then the file's called capital SB. Again, you might do something different, obviously. txt. So that's going to add all the data into our team names array that we've already declared as global. I'm going to use it in a couple of different subroutines, and then we're going to, the num games then is going to hold the total number of Super Bowls that have been played. So we can add the method .count to that one. Okay, that's going to store that for num games. And then we're going to do me.text, which obviously refers to the form. So equals, hang on, cursor's messed up there. Me.text equals, let's do first space. I'll explain what this is in a second. Num games variable. Okay, it's quite handy to know how to do this, obviously, as well. So it's going to hold the number of Super Bowl games in there that they've won. Okay, that's going to pop up, and then what else do we need to do? Let's have a think. Okay, and then finally we're going to change what is being said on the button called add winner. So I've named these, that's button add winner, that bottom one. So button add winner dot text equals add winner of game and it's going to be num game, so we're going to obviously increment this, so +1, don't do that in brackets. Okay, that's the first bit done. Alright, so now we're going to click on the display, so we're going to work on the display of pulling in the data. So typing in a name, displaying the games at once. So we double click on that button. I'm going to open up a private subroutine. Let's just get rid of this to make the screen a little bit bigger for us. So I'll write a comment in here. So this is going to display the numbers of games won by the team. The text box. Okay, so what we're going to need to do, we're going to set up something called a flag for this, which can be a boolean, which is going to change as we go through. So it's going to detect any wins, if you like. So again, quite useful. So number wins flag as boolean. So these are we set to true. So I'm going to make a comment next to that. So flag. To detect if any wins, and then we're going to do, again, my list box is called LST games 1. So good practice again is items.clear, so make sure there's nothing in there to begin with. I know there's not to start, but always good to put it in. Then we're going to do a count controlled loop, so for loop. We're going to start counting from 0 to the number of games -1. And then if team names, again checking each one, we'll convert them all to upper, just so there's no. So text name is in my text box, so whatever is in the text box. So converting these just in the same case. Again, you could do it lower if you wanted to, but just what I've chosen to do. Text, make sure that is, so whatever's tapped in the text box is also going to be in the same case. And then we're going to output that into the list box, list games1.items.add. And then it's going to be, yeah, so increment that. So it's going to loop through and go through each one each time. That's why the increment's there to do that. And then once that's completed, we're then going to set the flag to then equal false after that to show that it's ended. All right. Yeah, so that's ended if statement, ended the loop. Just double check. Then what we're going to do, so if no wins flag, then what we're going to do, so there might be a team that, again, this is a bit of kind of good validations really, so if the team's not won anything, which might be the case, we're going to output a message, no games won. Okay, and that, just check everything, yeah, that completes that subroutine for that one. So hopefully that makes sense. I've tried to explain it as I go through. If you've got any questions on this, if you're doing it yourself, please give me a shout. Let's save that up to now. Alright, I may have to do a second part of this video. We're on 10 minutes already nearly. Right, so let's deal with the add button winner now. So I'll try and speed things up to get it in one video. So we're going to add, this is going to be, add a winner of the next Super Bowl to the array. And we're going to create a variable, we'll call it prompt. So we're going to prompt a message. Alright, and we're going to add one more element to the array. Again, so obviously my array will change. Again, yours can do. So to do that, nice little keyword here. So redim is where you redimension the array. So preserve what's already there. Team names. Pass in the number of games of what we have. Alright, then we're going to increment that, because remember we're adding 1 to this, so it was 46 and 47, so that's num games, or you could write that num games equals num games plus 1. That's just a more succinct way of doing it. And then request the name of the next winner. And then that's going to be prompt. Alright, enter winner of the game. Okay, and then we need some num games. We need that there. That's the variable that's going to change. Yeah, that's it. Okay, and then we also need to do team names. Okay, num games minus 1. I'll explain this in a second. And we're going to use something called input box. I'll pick that up then. Input box. I'm going to pass in prompt, and then super, so it makes sense. So whatever the pass in the name. Okay, and then what we'll do then is update, or comment to that, so update the title. So what I'm saying is it won't no longer be 46. We're going to change it to 47. So the title is quite handy to know how to do this as well. So change the title of the button. So me dot text equals first. Might just get this under 15 minutes, and that's if there's no errors. Num games, and Super Bowls. Okay, and then button add winner dot text equals game, and adding 1 to that. Okay. So I'll explain this in a second. Let's just see if it all works first. We've got a minute before my video kind of times out. Let's just save it and run that. Hopefully we get it in 15 minutes. Depends on where we get errors. We've got an error. So what I'm going to do, I'll fix this, make sure it all works. I've forgotten to put in the data type, I think, for that one. And I'll do another follow-up video just to just explain a couple of lines of code. Okay. So it'll be a part 2 to follow.